Console online. HPG connection online. Educational module online. All systems nominal.
Hello, class, and welcome to On the Origin of Battlemech's podcast, episode 108, the Urbanmech Part B. I am your host, Brent Stewart. My co-hosts today are...
I'm Chandler.
I'm Derek.
And today we are going to continue to talk about the Urbanmech with Part B of our two-parter of this iconic community mascot, we'll say.
Indeed. Actually, Brent, there's been a change since the last recording.
Uh-oh.
An important change.
Ooh.
A great change.
Really?
I am no longer speaking to you from occupied Karita. I am back in the land of Davian.
So you are now back on the continental United States, is what you are saying.
It is what I'm saying. What's funny now is I'm actually only an hour ahead of you instead of 14 hours ahead of you guys.
But I'm pretty sure the lag or latency is the same, so shrugs, at least it's easier for scheduling.
Yeah.
I mean, we're now scheduling in the same day rather than it being Monday.
You know, I'm still disappointed you never gave me the lotto numbers.
Hey man, I need those lotto numbers, not you.
No, I didn't win the lotto. Something else won the dang bajillion-dollar
Yeah.
lotto. Guess I ain't paying off those student loans yet.
Anyway, so our first model today, because we're going to pick up right where we left off, is the UM-R69. Nice.
Nice.
Seen in 3063, and this bad boy has a movement profile of 232. It's got a small pulse laser in the left torso, an Ultra AC-10 in the right arm, and an ER small laser in the left arm. It has minimal armor, it's got Pharaoh, it's got 10 single heat sinks. It's the Urbanmech for the 3060s, and it keeps the tradition of the Urbanmech being quantity being a quality all its own. It's cheap, we can do these in mass, and they are a good thing in a specific spot or terrain / tactics.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's a nice cheap Ultra 10 platform.
Yeah, I mean, it doubles the firepower of the OG Urbanmech.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, the only real concern I have for it is just the fact that you have the small pulse and the small ER. And like kind of thinking about it, you could get rid of the small pulse laser and actually add 2 small ER lasers in its place, and you have 3.
Yeah.
Just kind of, because I always find it weird where you have like a small ER and a small pulse, and it's like, just kind of go with one or the other.
Why both?
Yeah, why
Why?
both? Because
Yeah.
one is a very, very, very short range pulse laser. The other one is,
theoretically, the pulse is to get rid of infantry and for defense, but also this thing goes 2-3. It's infantry's going to catch it if it's at all bogged down or like stuck in terrain or not able to jump away. Like it is easy pickings. So
it's not gonna escape no matter what happens. Really, is what it comes down to.
yeah.
Like this thing is basically, if they find it, they're going to kill it.
It's a glass cannon. I mean, that's kind of what the Urbanmech is. It is an ambush glass cannon.
It's an ambush predator.
This one has 1 ton of ammo in the right torso. So with the Ultra AC firing 2-shot bursts, you got 5 rounds of combat there.
You could ditch the small pulse laser for another ton of ammo.
It's true.
If
But
you so desire.
it doesn't have pace either, so
I mean, you don't exactly have a lot of armor either way.
I know, but it would at least make me feel better as the person who's piloting the thing.
That's true, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, in this, it's not it's not encased, so that thing takes a hit, it takes the entire mech out with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
Like I
get
said, glass
turned-
cannon.
You get turned into a fine, fine vapor.
No, you get a Viking funeral scene from orbit.
Actually, that's better. I like that one better.
So
Anyway.
this guy's got a battle value of 589 and a point value of 19. It is then followed up by the R68, seen 2 years later in 3065. This guy's got a movement profile of 232. It's got a small pulse laser in the head, a small laser in the left arm, and an MRM-30 in the right arm. It's got 11 single heat sinks, 2 tons of ammo for the MRM in the right torso, still no case. This one does not have Pharaoh, so it loses a little armor.
It actually gains 7 points of armor.
Really?
It pumps more tonnage in armor, yeah.
Well, it pumps more tonnage because it has it doesn't have Pharaoh anymore.
Yeah, but it also has a net increase in armor points. It goes up 7 points. So it pumps additional tonnage in armor.
They respread it more to the arms and legs, it looks like.
Yeah, for some reason. But you do have 7 more points of armor because the 69 has 89 points of ferrofibrous, while the 68 has 96 points of standard.
Yeah, this one has more armor on its rear as well as on its arms, and the actual torso loses a little bit.
Yeah, a point each
on the sides.
But then the rear gains 1. So, not sure if I like the redistribution of armor onto the arms, but at the same time, like, that is where your big gun is, so I kind of understand.
Yeah, I just wish they didn't lose any on the center torso. You know,
the center torso,
not on the torso, not the center on the side torsos. I misspoke.
How dare,
gentlemen, calm myself.
No,
sir, but there's no fighting in the war room.
Well, there's no fighting in the war room. But so we know how we said the last one could have a Viking funeral from orbit. This one's gonna have a double Viking funeral from orbit.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
But, like, I don't know.
I'm so confused why there's an extra heatsink.
Yeah, but at the same time, Chandler, you pull the trigger on that MRM-30 after someone comes around a corner, and you make them regret every life choice they've ever made.
Oh yeah, I forgot that MRM-30 does 10 heat. Okay, never mind. That one heatsink makes sense now.
Yep.
Yeah,
we're good.
I was gonna say,
but like,
ditch the small laser again. Put the small pulse laser in that left arm. Boom. Problem solved.
Yeah, problem solved.
You even have more armor.
But no, I actually think comparably in this case is if you're going for a cheap ambush predator, like Ultra 10, you have to hit on target with that.
Mm-hmm.
MRM-30, you kind of just fire in the general direction and you're going to get results.
Well, I feel like this one is supposed to work in unison with the R69. Nice. Because, the R69 will punch the hole and then the MRM-30 will find it.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it could work either way, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the MRM-30 will punch its own hole if it needs to.
Yeah, the MRM-30 is going to make its own way.
That thing does 30 damage if all the missiles hit.
Yeah.
I mean, It's not the only issue is it's spread out, but like thinking a light or a medium and you come around a corner on an MRM-30.
Yeah, like the 69 is for mechs and this is for infantry and tanks.
This is for mediums and lights as well.
True.
Yeah, lighter mechs.
Yeah.
I mean, an MRM-30 in a close range, like city fight environment, you come around a corner and this guy's standing right there. He's probably not gonna miss.
No.
And he just pulls the trigger, and next thing you know is most of your armor just got deleted. If not, your cockpit might have taken a couple of hits, and you might not be in a very good shape.
Yeah, because also the MRMs, they have a they have a +2 to hit, or is it a +1 and the cluster table is regular, right?
Yes. And if you give it a Apollo, which this does not have, you get rid of the +1 to hit, but then it puts a -1 on the cluster table.
Mm-hmm.
Because MRMs cannot have good things.
Yeah, I mean, like, MRMs are
jinky,
neat, and they should exist, but I feel like they quickly got overshadowed by things like ATMs and stuff.
They got overshadowed by the clan SRM immediately. Yeah. As soon as other people got a hold of that.
Yeah. Circling back to the art discussion last episode, I love the little rabbit ears on this model and the last one. Little antennae ears. Antenna. There's 2 antennae. Yeah.
Oh yeah, on the back.
Mm-hmm. It's so cute. Yeah. It's adorable.
I mean,
I like the glass going almost all the way around.
Yeah, I I appreciate aesthetically, even though it's probably a bad design aesthetic, the like this is a mobile turret, and so therefore it is like meant to have 360 view or something. So theoretically, the pilot
Yeah.
can just like look around.
Well, you also have to remember, with it being built for an urban environment, you need to be able to always put your eyes on almost anything around you.
Yeah, but you know, in the canon, the view screens compress. I think it's like 270 degree view into like 90 degrees, and there's the sensors kind of take over, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, in an urban environment, like, you'll see someone.
True.
They're right there. It's not like they're, you know, meters upon meters, tens of meters away. They're like 10 meters away in the building next to you.
Mhm.
And you just, you know, turn your head. Oh, look, there he is. Let's just twist over here and light up the building with 30 MRMs.
Yeah. Well, this Rocket Man has a battle value of 561 and a point value of 13. Next up, we have the R70, seen in 3066. And this guy's got a movement profile of 232. It's got an ER medium laser in the left torso, a rotary AC5 in the right arm, and a ER small laser in the left arm. It's got 10 single heat sinks, it's got ferro, it's got 2 tons of ammo in the right torso. No case still. Rotary is spicy on this boy, I think.
Yeah. How many heat sinks does it have?
11.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that the ferrofibrous is back with a full armor complement. Like, this thing's got a large amount of armor for a light mech.
Mm-hmm. Which is good because it can't really move.
Yeah. We're back to the same refrain of get rid of the small laser.
Yeah.
Give it case.
Urbanmech, a case for case.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much. I mean, this thing is basically Viking Funeral from orbit yet again.
I mean,
Mhm.
It's got a rack.
I mean, it's also an Urbanmech. Usually the players are not the ones piloting this. It's either the GM or the computer in the video game, because Urbanmech.
Yeah, true.
Sure.
But I mean, it's a rack 5, man. It's gonna do some damage.
I mean, it also has an ER medium laser. That is not a
It's
bad
pretty
upgrade
spicy.
in range. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty spicy.
Like, you don't want to put this in open terrain. The increased range is to increase accuracy as stuff, you know, is a little bit further down the block.
yeah. And I mean, it could arguably put out more damage than the Ultra 10 AC. So,
Yeah.
I mean, not exactly the same as the actual game, but playing against rotary urban mechs in what is it, MechWarrior Online, they're scary. 'Cause the amount of damage they output, like,
yeah.
again, video game, not actual tabletop, but like in the video game, they can be scary. And I mean, you're putting a rack 5 on this thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be brutally honest, it's not even the damage that irritates me the most of rotary autocannons and like MechWarrior Online. It's just how disorienting it is getting hit by one. Because it's
Yeah.
just constant explosions in your face, and you're like, what's going on? Why am I dying?
What do I do? How do I stop this?
Cover now, please. Good God.
Mm-hmm. But
I
mean,
thought
in
it was
case
an
with
urban
this-
mech. I thought I could pick on it.
In the case with this, and like in the last one, the MRM boy, I mean, and on top of that, I mean, basically the last 3 or the other 2 designs that we've gone through so far in this, like working in a group and like a hunter killer team of these things, terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Individually, they cannot take down an Atlas, but a lance of them, that Atlas is...
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, they also, I think, in more like fortified positions as like gun turrets, they would work pretty well. I mean, they
Yeah.
have a fairly wide spread of weapon systems that would definitely make for good, you know, somewhat mobile defensive positions.
I could see a fortress being built where there's like a company of these that are just supposed to pop in between firing positions, you know,
Yeah,
on each
basically-
wall and be
Basically,
mobile
be
turrets.
turret gunners.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see like a defensive line built around urban mechs to act like a company of urban mechs acting as a fortress or garrison company.
Mhm.
Because like you just take your more inexperienced pilots and be like, hey man, stay in bunker, shoot thing. Like
Yeah.
you don't exactly need the best trained troops to maintain a position. Like in a maneuver battle, yeah, these things aren't going to do great. But in a
No.
defensive position, like where they're in cover, where they can take advantage of that, and they're not really asked to, do, complex maneuvers.
They're mechs, but they're not meant for like mobile combat. Like this is an entrenched position sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I mean, the Urbanmech, I think, is the ultimate defensive warrior mech or defensive system mech. It's not something you're going to take with you when you're going to conquer the next planet or the planet next door.
Ultimate asterisks with cost effective.
Yeah, I mean, it's cost effective too, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's good.
I mean, I think the awesome will be a better defensive mech because it moves about the same, but
It's an
it
awesome.
pumps out a yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
an
you're
awesome,
also paying
but
for an
like
awesome.
you're also
Yeah.
paying for an awesome where I think
Again, the asterisks, which then goes down to cost effective.
Well, it's not
Yeah,
even
but-
cost effective. It's the awesome can only be in one place. A company of urban
Yeah,
mechs
the
can
awesome
be
can
in many
be-
places.
Yeah, I can only cover so much ground with one awesome, but with a company of urban mechs, I can secure a
Mhm.
large front line.
Yeah. Anywho, the R70 has a battle value of 724 and a point value of 16. So the last three models show an interesting curve or dichotomy in the classic versus alpha strike system.
Yeah.
So next up we have the Urbanmech 2C2 seen in a 3070. This bad boy's got a 353 movement. It has a little less armor than its brothers and sisters. It's got a flamer in the left arm and a Hag 20 in the right arm. So there is a ton of ammo in the right torso and there is a ton of ammo in the right arm. And the right arm has case, and because it is tech-based clan, I'm assuming the right torso also has case.
No, because hyper-assault Gauss rifle ammo does not explode.
Oh, right. Right, Gauss. Right, yes. So the Hag just taken care of with that right arm. Yeah. So yeah, no Viking funeral on this one. But yeah, finally got the case.
Yeah.
No, in this one, it's just pull trigger, delete infantry.
Delete infantry,
Yeah.
delete aircraft. I hope you didn't like those VTOLs flying close air support.
Like 5 of these popping out of somewhere could take down an Atlas pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, 20 points of damage scattered around is still 20 points of damage.
Yeah, but then working with a group or like a star.
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting sandblasted.
Yeah.
Yup.
Especially with them going the same speed as the Atlas, they can easily surround it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the other one that I think would also work with these guys is acting as a fire support platform for like battle armor.
Oh yeah, because they move about the same speed,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so you won't leave them
I mean-
behind.
I mean, just straight up, this is a mobile anti-air turret for the city because, it's got a long range of 24, so it just has to point up and anything trying to
Contest
get a
its
view of the
airspace.
city, it just disappears.
This is its airspace. Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, a good anti-hovercraft platform.
Like, it's clan, it's jihad, it's spicy.
It does things.
Yeah.
It do
Yeah.
the do.
Do the do. Not gonna complain about it. I mean, it gets work done.
It is a little weird seeing a clan mech with a flamer.
Yeah, you don't see those very often, but I mean, with
No,
the,
not
how
very
fast
often,
how fast it moves. I mean,
but it's gonna clean up. It's gonna be a cleanup crew.
I mean, I feel like there are some Urbanmech 2Cs too that have used their flamer more exclusively than their Hag because, well, mostly what they have to deal with is civilian uprising.
Yeah.
War crimes o'clock.
Well, why turn them into paste when you can light them on fire?
exactly.
Around here we do barbecue.
Barbecue.
I mean, I imagine that's how the Goliath Empire keeps their population in line.
We have the not the Cazador. The Cazador is the full-blown battle mech version. Whatever the other one is. No, that's for anti-pirate. Yeah, no, that's what we use.
Yeah, real oppressive there, bud.
Look,
Real
man, when the
oppressive.
Nueva Castile thinks that they get their freedom back, we have to ensure that they realize they're wrong.
Sounding real.
They have the freedom to
oppressive
choose to
there,
be part of the empire.
bud. They
See,
just
who
don't
else
have
even
freedom to
uses
leave
the
it.
Urban- Who else even uses the
S-
Urbanmech 2DC anymore?
Snow. Well, what do you mean? Who's still alive?
That we
Snow
talked to, yeah.
ravens, or no, coyotes. Snow ravens, hell's horses,
In the Ill Clan
scorpions.
era, we are down to Hell's Horses and Scorpions.
Well, this guy's got a battle value of 855 and a point value of 20. We then come to a interesting boy, the UM-AIV
You mean the Nuka Urbanmech?
for Arrow 4. Yeah.
To whom it may concern, Urbanmech.
Yeah. So this guy's got a movement profile of 232. It's got an Arrow 4 in the right torso and right arm, and an ER medium laser in the left arm. It's got 10 single heat sinks, endo steel, an XL fusion engine, and gyro. Yeah.
Small cockpit.
Oh, yes, it does have a small cockpit.
It uses every little thing it can do except for Pharaoh.
Because
And
it doesn't have enough slots.
Yeah, it needs the slots for the Arrow 4.
It has 1 ton of ammo in the left torso for homing and 1 ton for standard.
I definitely think that the Urbanmech is a great platform for the Arrow 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it's in wide use.
I kind of wish they would have ditched the ER medium for just this ER small and shaved off a half ton of armor for another ton of ammo. Because why
I mean,
not?
this thing is probably not very close to the battlefield to begin with.
Yeah.
No,
Sitting back.
because the range on that Arrow 4 is sheets, not hexes.
Yeah. So I mean, these things are probably sitting back in like in a fob, firing off arrow 4s. You know,
Mhm.
one fires its payload, it turns around, moves back, another one steps forward, starts firing. They're just, cycling
Constantly
reloads.
rotating.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I mean, especially with that homing, you can get something with the tag out there, and it's just gone.
He is gonna have a bad day.
it's a nice bunker you have there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
Mm-hmm. So this guy was seen in 3072, and it's got a battle value of 603 and a point value of 22. And it's spicy and used on a big enough map, battlefield or campaign scenario or whatever. It is scary if it is entrenched well and utilized correctly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But, as soon as something gets into wherever it's dug in, it's just going to fall apart. They all got XL everything, so.
Yeah, it's a bad time.
But again, it doesn't belong on a frontline battlefield. So.
No.
If it's on the front line, you're having a bad day.
Something went wrong. So next up we have the R80 seen in 3076, and this bad boy has a movement profile of 233. It's getting those improved jump jets. It's got a Beagle active probe in the right torso, a Guardian ECM suite, and a small pulse laser in the left torso, a snub nose PPC in the right arm, a tag in the right arm, and a small laser in the left arm. It's got no weight savings. It's got 11 single heat sinks. Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, a little toasty, but, it's also supposed to be
Mhm.
a cheap defense unit. So, putting double heat sinks into it's a cost you don't need to incur.
Mhm.
I was thinking about that, and I was like, this would be the perfect thing to throw out on like a perimeter line.
And then have the Arrow 4s further back in with the,
Yeah.
because it's got the tag.
Yeah, because one, getting close to like these guys' position. One, they have a tag. One, they have a Beagle active probe, and then on top of that, they're jamming you out as you get close to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that you'd be like, hey, this is going to be a forward like picket mech, where you put it, a couple miles out in front of you and scatter them around. They're not
Mhm.
exactly fast, but they've got a decent amount of firepower, and what they can call in with that tag is
Gonna make up for whatever lack of firepower they have.
Yeah, like this is the thing where a warehouse opens up its bay doors and it walks out and tags something and then fires and scutters away. This is the thing that is hidden and then pops out and rules on the tabletop notwithstanding, if we're looking at the fiction, it's hard to actually figure out where the jamming's coming from. So, that ECM is going to be useful.
Brent, thought here. So you know how we were talking about fortress defense urban mechs earlier?
Mm-hmm.
This is my fourth mech to go in that land in the fortress lands, because you got the 69, nice, the 78, and then the 70. Then you have the 80 to go with it to add the jamming the tag when you have like a fire support lance of the the arrows.
Mhm.
So you like so maybe a company of these is consisting of 2 lances set up like that, and then an arrow lance. So you
Yeah.
have 2 urban mechs in your 2 lances that are out on the battlefield tagging things, and they're providing active probe and ECM jamming for their for their fortress gun battery essentially.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't move fast, but it's going to be a pain to dig out.
Yeah, that's kind of the thought process.
They're like
I mean, it also
ticks.
jumps 3, which is not terrible. It can move a little better than the other ones.
Yeah.
So it's got a battle value of 699 and a point value of 20. We then come to the R93, and it was seen in 3130. It's got a movement profile of 222. It's got an ER medium laser in the left torso, a plasma rifle in the right arm, and an ER small laser in the left arm. It's got 10 double heat sinks. It's got a ton of ammo in the right torso, and standard engine, no weight savings, not great on the armor, but not terrible.
Yeah.
I like the plasma rifle because plasma rifles are sweet, but
I mean,
this is also
96 points of hardened armor. That's a lot of armor.
yeah, like that's the other thing. The armor is hardened, like that's why it's got the 222. So that like the actual pips don't look like it's got any more, but it is doubled.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
192 effective armor points.
Mm-hmm. So this will take more of a hit, but it's still not.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to take much more.
Yeah, it's going to buy itself around, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the good thing with it, though, is that someone's going to walk up to it, slap it with something hard, and be like, oh, yeah, it's an urban mech, it's dead. And then walk away, and all of a sudden, it's not dead. Because it's got hardened armor.
And
No.
this thing is scary against, like, tanks, infantry, like, even a couple of these against a single mech would heat it up real quick, and that, no bueno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy has a battle value of 894 and a point value of 17. We then come to the mislabeled R96, because it's labeled as R93 in Recognition Guide Volume 2. The R96, which was listed separately and as in Recognition Guide Volume 2 on Master Unit List, was released in 3149. It has a movement profile of 223. It's got a small X pulse laser in the left arm, a snub-nose PPC in the right arm, and 10 double heat sinks, improved jump jets, no weight savings, no armor, like, other than the hardened, obviously, like, because the Pharaoh slots. You know what I am trying to say.
Oh, it has doubles.
It has doubles.
It has
Yeah.
doubles.
This one's definitely meant to be much more of a, I'm going to stop you here than be a roadblock.
Mm-hmm. It is also interesting that it's got hardened armor, but improved jump jets, so it can go jumping 3.
Yeah. This one
It's-
is...
It's fun. It's funny.
Yeah. I mean, this one's like the Alpha Strike card for it is funny. It's like 6 armor, 3 structure.
You're just like, wait a second.
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute. And this is a 21-point urban mech.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this thing is going to take it's still going to take a decent beating, what it is. I mean, yeah, I think that this is for the later era that this is coming out in. Pretty solid defensive mech, especially because it is a Capellan Confederation staple mech,
Mm-hmm.
where they're the only ones using it. I mean, when you're throwing it with the reserve cavalry and those rear line units, it's gonna do its job pretty well. I mean,
Yeah.
snub-nose PPC, X-Pulse, especially because you're fighting it in an urban or close quarters environment, that's a lot of damage.
Oh,
That's not fun. And the fact that it's hardened.
You're almost always getting 10 damage on that snub nose. Like, almost always.
And then on top of that, the fact that, it has hardened armor, so it's not as easy to kill as you think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It also
You're
gets
probably
the
gonna-
Kickstarter art or the new miniature art, which is real good. I
Yep.
like this art.
Yeah, the new art looks good on it.
I like how it kind of keeps the 360 viewports, but the front is larger.
Yeah, you can really tell what the front of the mech actually is.
Mhm.
Point towards enemy.
The mini is also quite sweet from the Kickstarter. I got an extra one because I figured I should mod one to be Roland the Headless Irby pilot just for the lulz. Anyway, so the R96 has a battle value of 852 and a point value of 21. And this is the last urban mech we have, and it is interesting and spicy and probably the staple you will see in the Il Clan era moving forward.
Mm,
Mm,
I don't know if it'll replace any of the other urban mechs as a staple in the Il Clan era, but it's certainly a interesting deviation from standard urban mech
Yeah.
design.
Fair.
Yeah.
At the very least, the new mini and new art looks really good, because I like the legs on the new one versus the old Capellan art, because the legs are not wide but long, but not tall, if I'm making sense. Like, they just look like giant sheets.
Yeah.
All right, so for our pilot profiles, I'm going to throw over to Derek for our first one.
So I'm continuing on from the last episode. Now, we went from talking about Patricia Wellesley to Paul Wellesley. He is a lieutenant in the St. Ives Armored Cavalry. Paul Wellesley, as I previously stated, was the grandson of Patricia Wellesley and followed in her footsteps to be a member of the St. Ives Armored Cavalry. He soon surpassed even her impressive combat record, fighting against the Capellan Confederation and Magistracy of Canopa's forces during the Capellan-St. Ives War from 3060 to until 3063. Following the surrender of the St. Ives Compact, Wellesley was incorporated into the 2nd St. Ives Lancers. Despite this surrender, Wellesley remained deeply suspicious of Capellan leadership, noting that though Senzu Lao seems sane, he has exhibited a disturbing indifference to civilian casualties. And he also continued to pilot his grandmother's urban mech. So, yeah.
He got the Irby.
Irby.
He an Irby boy.
He an Irby boy.
Family tradition.
Like tradition
Family
indeed.
Tradition.
Well, next up we have Ringo Peterson. And Ringo is technically still at large, so if you find him, you could possibly claim a reward. The first records we have of Ringo have him registering, in air quotes, his urban mech named Bessie as being won in a game of poker on the planet of Tortuga in 3060. Ringo then proceeded to have a successful career of larceny in the periphery. After a lucrative heist on Randall's Regret, Ringo was provided with the funds to upgrade Bessie. Using the improved firepower, Peterson hit the Hunar Bank in 3071, gaining him enough credits to celebrate his success for 6 months of partying on Herodotus, Herodotus, or Herotitus, Herodotus. In the chaos of the jihad, Peterson and Bessie disappeared into the lost records of history, but rumors persist that the remaining credits of the Honar job are being hidden away, waiting to be found.
It's a treasure map. Sounds like someone needs to have a Destiny campaign about it. Gasp.
Could it
Yeah.
be a hook for a campaign?
Certainly
Who
not.
knows?
Why would you ever do that? All right. So next up, we have Njord Wing, technician Njord Wing, my apologies, who's believed to be the brains behind the new Capellan R93 and R96 projects. And it is said that maybe they could put some light upon some of the interesting choices going into those. Actually, a native of the Draconis Combine, and he is a chronic tinkerer who is devoted to keeping his own personal urban mech known as Frickle up and running. The success of the R93 during the Capellan campaign against the Republic of the Sphere, going out from my boys, rest in peace.
Rest in pieces.
Has ensured that Njord's skills are in high demand by anyone who can afford him. Having only debuted in 3149, the R96 has yet to receive a full trial by combat, though this is, of course, going to come because, well, when is the Inner Sphere peaceful?
I mean, it's pretty explicit that the Capellans are still planning on taking Terra. They're just like,
How do I get there?
we're gonna we're going to wait for that wall to drop, because...
We can't figure it out.
Nope.
Either the wall's going to drop or someone's going to tell them how to get in. One of the two. Or they're going to figure out how to get in.
And for our data dive today, I am going to pass the hot potato right back over to Chandler.
I love potatoes, especially hot potatoes.
Mash them, stew them, put them in your mouth.
Yeah, something
Delicious. Potatoes.
All right. So, with this being the part 2 of the Urbanmech, we will be returning to the land of Liao with part 2 of the Capellan Confederation data dive, Redux. Where we last left off, the Federated Suns had recently sent a peacekeeping force into the tumultuous Capellan commonality, and with this, the election of a new prime minister, one Seleucus, was done. Tukis was an expert politician, quickly solidifying his power base and seemingly bringing about good reforms for the commonality. Many costly and wasteful bureaucracies were cut from the government, streamlining the power he now wielded. After this, he turned to face the external threat in the Federated Suns. Unfortunately for Tukis, this would be where he would fail. His attempt to recapture the planet of Lee would be met with utter disaster, with the entire assault force being ambushed and annihilated. This would be used as a rallying cry by his political opponents, namely one Warren Eris, pushing some towards extremist views on the matter. These views would culminate with the outright assassination of Prime Minister Tukis on the eve of the next election. This made Aris all but certainly the next prime minister, which caused quite the stir, and agents from both the Federated Suns and the Free Worlds League approached his opponents with promises of support. For you see, Warren Eris was the head of one of the largest weapon manufacturing conglomerates in the Capellan zone, and a man with that much political and military power was not an ideal situation for the neighbors. Because who doesn't like having your neighbor who's in charge of a relatively large area be, also the guy who produces all the guns?
I mean, ideally you want to have a separation between state and military-industrial complex.
Yeah, for the Capellans, yes, but for the Free Worlds League and the Federated Suns, I think they're much less worried about that.
I mean, it's also a different economic system and a little more laissez-faire, so, apples and oranges.
So, the years going into the next election, hands were greased, ads were run, and every and all measure was taken to ensure Aris did not win. A Federated Suns agent was arrested for bribery. Charges of corruption flew in every direction. And the election returned with the winner as... drumroll please. Nobody won. Nobody had a clear lead. So the Senate was forced to call new elections again in 2366. In this election, fewer than 5% of the commonality voted. Democracy was seemingly failing in the commonality. And then the perfidious Federated Suns made their move.
Whoa.
In June of the same year, the Commonality Senate learned of another peacekeeping force being dispatched by Renard Davian, this one destined for Capella itself. Amongst the forces were veterans of the bloody Battle of Lee, and it seemed clear that the Capellan political power would be decapitated in one clean motion, and the zone would be ripe for Free Worlds League and FedSun expansion. Into this chaos stepped one Franco Liao, who would propose a radical solution to these issues plaguing the Capellan zone. In the year of 2366 on the world of St. Andre, the proposal dissolved the Capellan commonality and form a temporary confederation of the Capellan zone states to stand against both the Free Worlds League and the Federated Suns. A confederation, of course, led by Franco Liao.
Naturally.
Warren Eris, of course, condemned the proposal, but it simply took a reminder of Liao's naval might to have the members present at least listen to his proposal. Remember that in part 1 of this data dive series that the Duchy of Liao had greatly invested in their naval capabilities. And while they were not full warships, the fleet could still enforce demands on far-flung star systems with startling ease. Because when you have a gun, and no one else has a gun, it doesn't matter how that gun is, it's still a gun. Despite this threat of force, there was still not any unified decision made on what to do. It took the daughter of the dead Seleucus, the wife of Franco Liao, one Duchess Caroline Liao, to proclaim that if Franco turned to dictatorship and to the crushing of the freedoms of the Capellan zone, she herself would run him through with a sword. It should be mentioned that when she made this promise, she was holding his own ceremonial sword to his chest. Definitely not one to mess with.
So not an empty saber rattle, we could say?
No, there was a empty sabered scabbard. And with this, the die was cast, and Franco Leal was acclaimed Prime Minister to the Capellan Commonalty in a vote of 14-1, with, of course, the one being Warren Harris. In Franco's first act as Chancellor, he disbanded the Commonalty and reformed it into the Capellan Confederation. His first act as the Chancellor of the new Capellan Confederation was to appoint Warren Harris, his most bitter opponent, to the position of Deputy Chancellor. Surprisingly, Warren refused, completely enraged at the turnaround of his political dreams. Good for you, Warren, I guess, maybe? Franco's reaction to this was to arrest him for crimes against the Confederation. Quickly, Franco would reform the nation. First on his agenda was appointing 2 military commanders for each of the formerly independent states, which are now known as commonalities: Sarna, St. Ives, Capella, Cyan, and Tikhnov, with a substantial land grant given to each to ensure their loyalty to him and to the new Confederation. Of course, luckily for Franco, these land grants were mostly taken from the Harris' family ancestral holdings, because, that's what you get for not taking the Deputy Chancellor position, Warren. Franco would then reform the Senate, turning it into an advisory council named the House of Scions. His wife, Caroline Leal, was appointed the first president of the council. Then the meetings on St. Andre were closed, and the new chancellor moved to reinforce and defend Capella from the encroaching Davian threat. And that is where we will stop today. A new government formed. The Liao's now in charge of a newly birthed Capellan Confederation and a threat bearing down on the new capital world. Surely this won't cause any sort of lasting enmity to last into, 500 plus years into the future. Certainly not.
No.
Certainly
Never.
not. Why would we? This Confederation's obviously a very temporary thing. Certainly will not have any issues.
Emergency powers, always temporary, right?
Yes.
I mean, we've made the joke before many, many a times, but this is very much the, I love democracy.
Oh, yeah. It's funny how much the Free Worlds League and Capellan political systems mirror each other to some extent, especially since they don't tend to like each other. Because you totally get this one person gets put into power, whether it's the Captain General or the Chancellor, and it's like, this is a temporary engagement. You get this power, you can't do too much with it, except for be, this person, go do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, the emergency powers, it's still an emergency, guys. We're going to keep going. And then suddenly you end up with an entrenched political system based around a family name.
Where you end up with a basically monarchy without a monarchy.
Yeah.
Totally not a monarch.
A monarchy in all but name.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
At least the Free Worlds League, theoretically, you could have someone who's not a Merrick, but no one would vote for him. So you end up just having fights between Merricks to be the top Merrick.
Or people marrying into the Merrick family in order to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the other one, Chandler, that you're forgetting is trying to break out of the Free Worlds League.
Yeah. Dang Andurians.
Well, they're not part of your league anymore, so...
Yeah, I don't want them back. They can stay away.
We've covered it, the self-destruct timer doesn't start back up until they join, so if they don't join, you're good.
So, if they don't join, the prophecy stays unfulfilled and we're good.
Yeah.
It's Greek tragic plays all over again. As long as we don't do this, we're good.
They can't ruin the Free Worlds League if they're not in the Free Worlds League.
Exactly. And honestly, they make a great border state between us and the Capellans,
Border or buffer?
Yes.
Which, yeah, what are we looking for, Brent? I mean, it does both.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Our sources for today, I'm assuming we're good to go on sources?
Yeah. I do have to say one thing when I was writing the data type for this.
One more glib comment? Oh, unacceptable.
Yeah, I know, right?
Carry on.
When I wrote the first part 1, I was like, the Seleucus guy, he's going to be great. He's going to go real far. And then I started writing this one, and I was like, he just dies.
Yeah, he just
I set him up so good, and then all of a sudden he just died. I'm like, well, there went that. That was...
See, Chandler wants to be surprised along with everyone else as they listen. So.
Yeah, I did not read far enough ahead to realize he just dies.
All right. Well, our sources for today are Sarna, Battletech Battlemech Manual, Master Unit List, Shrapnel Volume 4, Shrapnel Record Sheets Volume 4, TRO and Record Sheets Succession Wars, TRO 3050 Upgrades, Record Sheets 3050 Inner Sphere, TRO 3060, record sheets 3060, TRO 3085, record sheets 3085, Old is the New, Experimental Tech, Republic of the Sphere, Volume 2, Ilklan Recognition Guide, Volume 2.
I use Handbook Capsule.
Yay.
Totally didn't realize that pause was so I
Factory.
could say mine.
I totally use Mech Factory.
I use Mega Mech.
Mm.
Good old
Sarna.
Mega Mech.
And Sarna. Mech Factory and Sarna.
Oh, you guys
Sarna-
do any
Sarna
fun?
is very good.
Any fun? What's this stuff called? Miniatures stuff recently, like converting or building or painting or
Sort
playing
of,
games.
Sort of,
Oh.
only in the sense that I am reorganizing my place and have been planning to for a while so that I can do that, because the layout of my place has, as I have been processing stuff from the before times, the layout has changed, and so we're getting to the point where it's like, okay, I think I can start doing some painting, and theoretically chilling with people and doing that in VC and the Discord would not be a terrible idea.
Yeah, it's a very relaxing thing to do. I mean, at least for me, Chandler, I did get to play 350 for the first time.
Nice.
It did not go well. And then on top
We
of
call
that,
that a learning curve.
it was a learning curve. I've retooled and definitely would like to play some more. But on top of that, I guess with the whole me in transit kind of thing in limbo, haven't really broken out the paints and model building stuff just because, I have to also transport that stuff. So I think a lot of what I'm going to end up doing right now is actually repairing some models that didn't make it through the trip very well.
They got to go to mini hospital.
They were not fully
Yeah.
secured when loaded onto the dropship.
Yeah, the dropship did not treat them very well, so we're gonna have to do some fixing on some Horse Heresy models before Nova. But other than that, though, yeah, I'm really excited to get to our new apartment down in Oklahoma and get the desk back up in operation and start
Battle station.
work. Yeah, get the battle station operational. Emily's laughing at me right now, I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
A
this
little bit.
will come out until after it has happened, but you are also going to be at Gen Con, so...
They will also be at Gen Con, so
The
our next
Conventions.
recording, I will definitely give a report on that. I'm going to be stopping by the Catalyst booth, kind of see what we got, and on top
See
of
what
that,
they have on in their table of wares.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They've
see-
released a list, I think.
yes, they
Mhm.
have.
There's some forward stuff from the Kickstarter that is going to be available, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
From
with
the
the
Kickstarter?
Catalyst stuff, at least from what I've seen before I'm going to Gen Con, nothing really sticks out that I want to shut up and take my money.
Mm-hmm. Like
Alpha
the
Strike
beginner
set
box
looks
with the
really good,
Vindicator
but
and
it's
the Alpha
like,
Strike, yeah.
yeah,
Like
but
those
it's
are
like I
technically
have all of
Kickstarter
that.
stuff.
and I don't need any more kind of thing is where I'm
Yeah.
at right now with that.
I don't need to add to my pile of shame.
No, I've got enough Horse Heresy models in the pile of shame right now that we don't need to talk.
Nervously looks at shelf next to me full of mostly
Yes.
gray mechs.
Um,
Heavy
The-
sweating gif.
I think though I know I'm kind of dragging this out, but the next BattleTech project I'm waiting on right now is probably once the mercenary boxes start popping up. I'm probably gonna pick some of those up and do a Dark Age Eridani Light Horse force. is
Spicy.
what I'm thinking. Yeah,
Nice.
with them coming back, I think that's what I'm gonna use those mechs to create.
It's time kind of thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's time. I have a couple painted up in Eridani colors. I would probably like to actually create a company, or probably about a company that I can use for various different formats. And then from there, other than that, I'm really excited to get to Gen Con and just see everything. Not just, Catalyst, but other game systems because I play a lot
The
of
game
games.
systems exist.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
play a lot of other games, so I know I'm going to be wandering around and just checking those out, especially trying to pick up Gen Con exclusive models and stuff like that. I'm also
Gen Con is your all-you-can-eat buffet.
basically, I'm on top of that. I'm also planning to go do a demo of a game called Conquest: Last Argument of Kings. Really kind of want to get back to the old Warhammer rank and flank fantasy kind of thing. So we'll see how that goes, but that's kind of my preview of Gen Con for me at least.
Yeah, I have contacted the necessary peoples, and I have a agent representing my interests at Gen Con.
Oh,
Nice.
It's not me.
Nice.
No, it's not you, actually.
Why?
I wasn't
What?
sure if you were going to be there or not when
It's okay,
I
Derek. You're
started
my
making
agent.
these plans.
Yes, I'm his agent.
Yeah, so we all have our own agent.
Mhm.
Nah, I managed to convince Garl's Gideon to
Carl's Gideon.
Carl's
Gideon.
Garl's Gideon, yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
is
right now.
he is my agent.
Right now we're hoping to meet up. Depending on what our schedules look like while we're there. So we'll see.
And I'm still getting real antsy about LVO and BattleTech tickets being released for that. So hopefully by the time this episode releases, those will be up.
Yeah.
Because I want to buy the tickets for that, plan my time off and all that jazz. Because I've just
Oh,
kind of blocked
yeah.
it off.
I forgot the the Mech Bay boys are gonna be at Nova.
Oh no,
I have to.
You guys are gonna be so busy, so busy.
so busy.
And be like, play Alpha Strike with me, nerd.
I challenge you, Batchall.
Yeah.
I Batchall you on a budget. They
Oh, I
have
love it.
to accept if you use their own slang terms against them.
That's how that
Hey,
works, right?
You know, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go into the Mech Bay podcast and be like, you are going to be at Nova, and I hereby batch all you
On a
on a budget.
They're doomed.
They're doomed.
Never saw
Anyway.
it coming.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap her up then. This podcast is made possible by our supporters on Patreon. Link in the description. Our social media on Twitter is @OriginOfMechs. We have a community Discord, the Armory of Ouroboros. A link in the description. You can email us at ontheoriginofbattlemechs@gmail.com. If you enjoy the show, please leave a review on your platform of consumption, tell your friends, and share on your community platform of choice. Special thanks to my friend Treble for the intro and outro. Our Ace Pilot Patreons are John Keith III and Metal Ed. Our Field Marshal patrons are Field Marshal Stahlkater and Field Admiral Chiraneau. Class dismissed. Everybody have a great day.
Peace out, Mech Warriors.
Greek Fire, New Avalon in the new year. New Avalon in the new year.
Module complete. System standby. Would you like to load the next module?
Herotitus. Herotitus.
I don't know.
I think
Sounds Greek.
Yeah.
I blame the Marians.
That's a bit of a jump because Tortuga's like, by the Federated Sons.
It's all the Marians.
So, always the Marians.
The attack, but it simply took a reminder of Liao's naval might to have the members present at least. Let me retake that.
No,
No,
we're doing it live.
Doing it live. Warren Eris, of course, condemned the proposal.